Hello, I am Mrs. McIntyre. I'm trying something a little bit different this year, and what I'm trying to do is to allow you guys to access lessons or videos that I create at home so that you guys can view things and hopefully be able to get a little extra instruction if you need it, or if you're absent, you can access the materials and view what we learned in class that day. And then class time can be spent working a little bit more on the actual homework or doing some more discussions about what you guys learned. And so to try to get you in the habit of using this process and to just start it off for the beginning of the year, what I'd like to do is to use this process to introduce myself. Some of you may know me, but if you don't know me, I am Mrs. McIntyre. I teach 11th and 12th grade English here at Yale High School. And what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about my background, and what better place to start than from the beginning. So what I'd like to talk about first is my arrival. I was born on August 25th, 1980 in St. Clair, Michigan. I lived in St. Clair, Michigan until I was about 3 years old, and at the age of 3 then we decided to move to Emmett. I'm just sharing with you some pictures of when I was a little youngster. That was me holding a baseball. That was my favorite thing apparently when I was just a little baby. When I was old enough, I went to John F. Farrell Elementary School, as it was called. Now it's just Farrell Elementary School. As you notice, I was quite a sharp dresser back in the elementary days. You'll notice that my glasses were almost as big as my entire head. But that was the style. I mean, everybody looked like that, right? I have a brother and a sister. I have an older brother, Tim, and my sister is Christy. Some of you may be familiar with my sister. She is a teacher at Farrell Elementary. You may know her as Mrs. Francic. When I went to high school here at Yale, I participated in sports, one of which was track. I was not very good in track, but I still participated. But my favorite sport was tennis, and those were our uniforms back in 1997. And as you can see, we were also quite fashionable back then as well. Once I graduated from high school, I knew that I wanted to become a teacher, and I had to start the process. And so I started my schooling after Yale High School at St. Clair County Community College. I graduated from Yale High School in 1998 and immediately went right into the community college that following August. After 2 years at St. Clair County Community College, I attended the University of Michigan in Flint, and I commuted there. I attended the University of Michigan for 3 years, and at the end of the 3 years, I graduated with my degree in teaching. I have a major in history and a minor in English. When I graduated in 2003, I took my first job at the Academic Transition Academy, which is actually no longer open. It did close a couple of years ago, but it was a great stepping stone for me to come to Yale High School. Once I became a teacher at Yale High School, I continued my education at Saginaw Valley State University, where I received my master's degree in education, and I have even attended via the internet, taking online classes at North Dakota State University. I received 30 additional credits towards my education. Just to talk a little bit more about my family, I am married to Mr. McIntyre, and I'm sure this picture is totally grossing you out, but he is a teacher here as well at Yale High School. We got married in February of 2008. Now live in Melvin, Michigan, so just on the outskirts of Yale. When I married Mr. McIntyre, I had the good fortune of becoming stepmother to his 4 children. And then in addition to that, we also had our own child together, which was back in 2010, and her name is Emma. And I will talk a little bit about them individually. Travis just graduated in 2012, and he is now currently attending the University of Michigan. Both Mr. McIntyre and I attended the University of Michigan, so we're pretty proud parents. Johnny is 15 years old, and he attends here at Yale High School. He is in 10th grade. So you probably have seen him in the hallways, or will see him in the hallways. Also, we have Alyssa McIntyre. She is now in junior high, the big 6th grade, and she is a big hunter, and last year she was able to bag her first buck, and so it was kind of a big deal for her. Next we have Brooke. Brooke is in 4th grade this year at Yale Elementary. She recently started Girl Scouts, and so she is a big Girl Scout participant, and last year that was her little car that she entered into the Pinewood Derby, and she actually did really well. I think she took 3rd place. And then finally we have Emma. Emma is 2 years old, and she brings us lots of joy and entertainment because she is quite a silly little girl. So that is our family. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the role that you're used to seeing me in, or will become used to seeing me in, which is the teaching role. I not only teach 11th and 12th grade English, but I also advise here at Yale High School 2 different organizations. One of those organizations is National Honor Society. The other organization is working as the advisor to the class of 2015. I like to have a lot of fun in my class, as you can see by this little clip. Having a sense of humor and having fun in class, I think, is very important. It makes the class more entertaining, and people can share things and we can have a good time. So I oftentimes like to share little things with you guys just for fun. This is a picture of the National Honor Society that I advise working on a cemetery cleanup that we did last year. And then the next picture is a picture of myself and Mr. McIntyre in front of one of the floats that we helped construct for the class of 2011, actually, and I am now, like I said, currently the class advisor for the class of 2015. So I am now in my 6th year of advising a class here at Yale High School. One of my pastimes that I really enjoy doing, just to kind of give you a heads up, is I really enjoy running. I started taking up running probably 2 years ago, and I have participated in, at the time that I'm recording this, I will have participated in 3 half marathons, and my goal is to run a full marathon, hopefully in October of 2012. So we'll see if that ends up happening. It's a goal, but I don't know. It's going to be a big one. I oftentimes run with my dad, who actually encouraged me to run, and I really look up to him. He is 60 years old and has participated in at least 10 marathons himself and countless half marathons, so he is a big role model for me. At this point, I would like to talk a little bit about my classroom expectations. Every teacher has certain standards that they have in their classroom, and I'm no different. One of the biggest things that I want to emphasize is respect. Respect is huge. That is one of my 4 standards that I really want to emphasize with you guys. Respect covers a lot of things. It could be that you need to be respectful of me when I'm lecturing in front of the class. You need to be respectful to a fellow classmate who may be sharing some information. You need to raise your hand when you have a question or a comment. You need to wait to sharpen your pencil till I'm done speaking. It covers so many things, and I always will be respectful towards you, and I would expect the same in return. If that is an issue or a problem, it is something that will be addressed right away, because in order to have a safe learning environment where you can have effective learning taking place, you have to have respect. So please keep in mind that that is one of the biggest requirements that I have in my classroom. The next requirement I'm almost ashamed to have to cover, being that you guys are 11th and 12th graders, is materials. I expect you to bring paper to class every day. I expect you to bring pencils to class every day, and I expect you to have a folder in class every day. You need pencils in my class more than pens because we are writers in English, and oftentimes we need to revise and edit and change things. And so I would rather have you write in pencil than in pen so that that can happen. Again, we're an English class, so oftentimes a lot of writing does take place. So you need to make sure that you have paper on hand, and I prefer that you have college ruled paper than wide rule. In high school, you need to be using college ruled paper. And then a folder is just standard. You guys are going to have notes, you're going to have worksheets, you're going to have handouts that you're going to need to keep organized in a folder so that you're not like, well, wait, I'm not sure where I put this, I'm not sure which folder it's in, I think it might be in my locker. Keep everything in your folder and bring it to class every day, and then we won't have a problem. And that kind of brings me to my next big point, which is responsibility. You guys are 11th and 12th graders, and you're about to, embark on the next phase of your life in adulthood, where you are going to be responsible for having a job, taking care of family, and being responsible is a major, major factor. And I have a very hard time listening to students say, well, I don't have a pencil, or I didn't bring my stuff, or do you know where an extra worksheet is? It is your responsibility to take care of yourself, keep track of your materials, stay on top of your grades. That is why you have access to Student Connect, because you need to take care of yourself. I will gladly assist you with anything that you need in taking care of yourself, but I think there are certain things that you should just be able to do on your own. And one of those things is staying organized, is bringing materials to class every day, is keeping your work turned in on time and doing a quality job. At this point in 11th and 12th grade, you need to take it upon yourself and be proactive and just be responsible all across the board. And finally, one of the things that I like to mention is that you do need to have a planner in my class every single day. It's not only a rule of Mrs. McIntyre, it is a rule of Yale Public Schools. In order to get any kind of pass out of class, whether it's to the drinking fountain, to the office, to your locker, whatever, you need to have your planner so that I can sign a pass. If you don't have your planner, there are consequences in place for that. So I would just like to emphasize now that you do need to make sure you have your planner with you every day so that you do not have to follow any of the consequences that go along with not having it. So those are some of the big things that I do require in my class. There are certainly other smaller things that I would expect, and I will definitely cover in class as well. So now this brings us to the portion of the video where you guys have questions. These questions, as I mentioned earlier, are for extra credit, but I hope that you do it because not only is this informative for you, but it's intended to be fun. So the 4 questions that I have for you are, number 1, how many children do I have? Number 2, where did I earn my bachelor's degree from? Number 3, what is my favorite hobby or pastime? And number 4, what are 4 of my classroom expectations? So you just need to answer these 4 questions and bring them to class with you tomorrow, and as I mentioned, you will receive extra credit. The nice thing, as I mentioned earlier in the video, is if you missed any of these questions, you have the ability to go back and rewatch it one more time and find the answer. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we can try more of these throughout the year and see if they do assist you guys in your learning. Thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow.